You know, I got to take a leaf from my son's book and not be working with all of these desktop icons and just work with the tab typing. I mean, I do that anyway inside of Houdini and Nuke. Well, why not just clean off my Windows interface and just go that way? Oh, well. Tab type FileMaker Pro. Let's pop that open. As you can see, Houdini's in the process of launching. Sometimes I think as software complexity begins to increase, we've gone back to the days of the Pentiums, the 486s and that kind of stuff. I had an interesting talk with a friend of mine who's a VFX producer, VFX Soup, and we were talking about SGIs, Silicon Graphics workstations. I can't remember if they were called the SG Octanes or the O2s, something like that. And they were like the dream machine way back in the day. All right, let's pop into our VFX Soup data on set and let's take a look. I'm going to move Houdini off to the side. That's going to be the next sort of thing that I discussed today. And let's open this without sharing because I don't have sharing set up anyway. So that's cool. All right. So let's go. I like to have my view set up, zoomed in. Let's go full layout and check this out. So we've got our new layout set up. That's cool. It was interesting. I was having difficulty adding sort of various different camera models in here. I could expand the sort of the list of the heads. So I should have put my Moco in here. Unless, hang on a sec. Let's open up. So that's the VFX Soup. There you go. We want the AKA one. That's the most recent one. I'll pop that one open. Open without sharing. Screw y'all. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in, go full layout. So here we've got the Alexa listed, and we got our camera mounts, the Technocrane. Oh, weird! It must have updated the list. I don't have the additions of the various heads that I've added to this. Let me just take another look. Did I stash it in templates? No, we opened up the template. It wasn't in there. And it's not in the VFX data set. That's for the 17th. 446. Let's check that one just to see. Maybe I overwrote it by accident. It's kind of interesting. I'm sort of interpreting FileMaker Pro in terms of Excel to a certain degree and in the way it encapsulates data. Huh. Okay, it's not in there. But when we come over here to do an edit layout, right, we can select what we've got going on here, and there is a editable drop-down list, right? So in here, you get what looks like a CSV type list, right? So I can alter the field camera body and as well camera head, to which I thought I added a couple of changes. So there might, okay, well, I'm going to see if I can simply edit this list and see if we can Loco, motion control, Oculus head, and there was another head. Well, let's just try that for the time being, right? So we're gonna add those guys in there. So ideally, when I exit layout, did save. Oh, maybe I need to save the layout. So the Oculus and the Moco are there. But I couldn't figure out how to add different camera bodies, right? So if we come over here, let's pop in here again and edit that list, right? So if I come to camera body, right? So it's got this double colon, which is I believe a C++ notation in terms of accessing a dictionary or library, right? So I look at it hierarchically. So there's a dependency with slates. So somewhere where there's a way we can adjust the slates, it'll access a camera body identifier, and then there I can alter my sort of list of camera bodies. I'm going to edit this and see, yeah, use values from this field, right? So that field will be slates camera body. I think what I probably want to do, let's try this. Let's force the issue, right? So let's go camera body, and well, let's figure out what cameras we want to tackle first. So I'm just in the process of setting up my database in FileMaker Pro. I've got a lot of copies floating around, right? It's just me kind of rushing through and trying to do my thing. So let's see if we can move a few into an iteration folder. There's a number of sort of database dependencies that I was kind of wrestling around with. So, well, I'll show you what I mean. I was a little bit worried about moving things around. So I'm just going to right click and open this folder. So actually, once we dive into the camera body stuff, I'm going to take a look, and we're going to break down a camera today. If I don't do it today, I'm just never going to do it, right? So we're just going to break down a camera today. There's quite a few new cameras out there around, and I just want to get a little bit more familiar with them, right? So we're going to add our Arri Alexa, the Red Epic, the Sony f65, and the Sony Venice, right? I suspect the Sony f65 is known by a different name. I wonder if that's Sony Cine Alta. I don't know, but that's what we're here for, right? To expand our camera knowledge a little bit, right? So whilst I'm, actually, this is too slow. Let's get out of that. And let's navigate to that location manually, probably get there quicker. Okay, so we're going into our global and production pipeline, camera, and templates, right? So let's do this. I'm going to create a new folder, and giving away a little bit of my concept art background. So we'll do that. I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to move it in there. We don't need it anymore. We've sort of rejigged it to be onset data, and I'm going to go to my onset folder and the VFX data. Let's just create another folder for iterations, just making these massive copies. Oh, I didn't want it to be all caps. You. Okay, let's do it this way. Delete ya. Yes. So that was not case sensitive. Oh, and I like to set my stuff up somewhat case sensitive. So I'm going to move those guys in there. We'll get the master Gantt chart, which I developed for an earlier project. Exercises, and let's come in here and go create a done folder. I'm gonna move these guys over. That's cool. Little bit more kind of streamlined, I think. Actually, let's move all of these guys over, right? Oh no, that one's the one we have open. Okay, so that's cool. We'll do our exercises and we'll generate a template out of that, right? So I'm going to move this guy over. You can see I've got the Red, the F65, and the Venice open here. What was this again? That's the Arri, right? So I'm gonna move these guys over here, and I'm just gonna pop this guy here. I might do some screen grabs of these cameras as well, right? So let's pop in the different ARRI cameras, right? All right, so it looks like on The Mandalorian, they use an ARRI, right? So let's edit camera body, right? And I'm gonna go to the camera body field here, and let's edit that bad boy. And I say, use value list from another file, use custom values. So let's see which one of these guys. So I think the ARRI Alexa LF is the one that was used on The Mandalorian. Let's start there. So the ARRI Alexa LF, right? So it looks like this is the one that was used on The Mandalorian. So that's a good place to start, right? So let's pop in here and we'll say the ARRI Alexa LF, right? So that'll be our first camera. Let's grab a quick screenshot of that. I'm going to copy that image and we will pop that into our little camera study, which is here, right? So let's duplicate this slide and we'll pop that in there. And this is our ARRI Alexa LF, right? Keep that there for now. Let's take a look at the red. Okay, so there's the Monstro Helium Gemini Dragon. Cool. The Gemini. Let's go big, right? So here we go. Now these are the camera bodies. There's a workflow. That's kind of cool. All right. So the red R3D red code workflow. That's cool. 4K, 8K. So let's take a look at the 8K variant. So we got the Helium and the Monstro, right? The Dragon is 6K full format. A lot of productions shoot 6K, so that's interesting. 35.4 megapixel. Let's see. 60 frames per second. 8K. Yeah, you know what? Let's go Monstro. Ha ha ha. Why not, right? It's a theoretical list. Yeah, let's put together our dream kit list, right? So that's the Alexa Monstro 8K VV, right? So I'm gonna click on this bad boy and see if I can. Let's copy. You know what? I need to be grabbing the tech specs as well. So let's pop back over and take a look at this, right? So I'm gonna move this PowerPoint so it's a bit separate, right? Move this. Keeps wanting to slide in. All right, so that was the ARRIFlex. ARRIFlex. The ARRI Alexa. Okay, so I'm gonna take this guy out and we'll pop that guy in. Cool. That's an alpha image. Okay, so that was the what? Red Monstro 8K VV, right? So what I wanted to do was to also grab the quick specs, right? So here we got a 35.4 megapixel CMOS, right? And we got, so this is what we will need a little bit later on. Let me actually, I'll just put CMOS sensor in case I present this. And then we've got this is what we need when we enter in our film back, either in Maya or Houdini. 40.96 millimeter by 21.60 millimeter, right? And we get a note of the diagonal, which is 46.31, 46.31 mil, right? And again, that's important information for when we're setting up our film back, right? Okay, 46.31 mil, and it shoots at 60 FPS, right? At 8K full format, which is a whopping resolution of 8192 by 4320. It's kind of interesting. I got so used to 1920 by 1080, 720 by 46. I got used to a whole bunch of these resolutions, and there are a whole slew of new resolutions that I need to commit to memory that become second nature because formats have changed quite a bit, right? 75 frames per second at 8K, and that's so full format. Yeah, that'll be a little bit more of a square pixel. So if we want to shoot 2401, right, which is feature film ratio, then we have to go 8192 by 3456. So that's interesting. The horizontal resolution is a little bit more important than obviously, because when you ground the glass down. Okay. So that's cool, and let's do the same thing. Let's get rid of this. I'm just gonna copy this one just because it gives me just for consistency. And does this mean I have to? I don't want to do that. Let's see. Can we crop this guy in? Yeah, we can crop it, right? So let's pull this in this way and that way. That's cool. There we go. So we got the Alexa LF, right? Let's see if we get some quick specs on that one. Features. Okay, no quick specs on this. A lot of info though. Okay, here we go. So let's go. Technical data, show more. Oh, we got a huge list here, guys. This is cool, though. Bayer pattern color filter array. So it'll be a large format. There's no megapixel rating on that one. Let's see, sensor active image area. Just having a quick look here, guys, just to see. Well, that's kind of interesting. I thought megapixel rating was built into the lexicon of discussions of camera nerds in terms of what we're looking at. But this is I'm going to make a note of this. It's quite a bit of information, so let's let it spill over. So large format ARRI Alev3. That must be their proprietary tech. A2X. That's a processor, isn't it? It's an Android. It's an Android-based processor. The A2X. I think. I'm not entirely sure. So that's a CMOS sensor with Bayer pattern color filter array. Whoa, that's a mouthful, right? So now I do understand Bayer grid filtering. I wonder if this is different. So I'm going to take a look at that, right? Because Bayer filtering has been around for years, but why they would prominently have that listed in their technical data makes me a bit curious. So sensor maximum resolution and size. Oh, I suppose we could work out your megapixel just by taking a look at the max res. right? Which is 4448 by 3096. Okay, that's cool, right? So here is the important information that we need. The diagonal is 44.71 millimeters, right? Or 1.76 inches. So let's put that 1.76 inches, right? And let's grab the sensor size. We'll stop at the two cameras here today. So that is our 36.70 mil and 25.54. 25.54 mil, right? We don't need the inches for that, surely, right? We'll just do the conversion later. Sensor frame rate. Oh, it's giving me a range. 0.75 to 150 FPS. Well, not bad. Not bad. And then, cool. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But let's take a look. There's a lot of interesting information here. I'll probably download the technical data, right? So the weight, that's sort of important, right? So camera body with LPL lens mount, 17 pounds. That's pretty heavy to lug around. Now, photosight pitch, I don't know what that is. So I'm going to look that up in terms of studying this camera. Sensor active image area. So that's cool. So they got OpenGate ProRes, OpenGate ARRI RAW, right? And OpenGate is full sensor, right? No aspect ratio cutoff, right? They got 16:9, and then the 2391 or 241, 2401. And then they've got the dimensions. That's really cool. This is, again, a handy list for setting film back to match the camera settings inside of Maya and Houdini. Recording file container size per pixel. Not entirely sure what this is in reference to. Recording file image content. Exposure latitude, 14 stops over the entire sensitivity range. From exposure index 160 to exposure index 3200 as measured with ARRI dynamic range test chart. ARRI dynamic range test chart. Hang on. Hang on a second. Hey. That's pretty cool, actually. So, let's see. Now, what is the range test chart? So these are results, I think, of the Red Epic versus ARRI Alexa, the dynamic range. Interesting. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to read this, I think. But that is really interesting to me. Okay. So we'll come take a look at that later. Exposure index, shutter, recording formats, recording media. Yeah, cool. The rest, I think I will peruse at my leisure. Manual auto white balance adjustable from 20,000 to 110,000. Okay, cool. Let's save this off. This is some handy dandy info. So I'm going to save this off into my camera directory. And so I've got that in here, I believe. So cinematography, and let's go in here into cameras. Come on, wow. That's really frustrating. Okay, going to cameras and database. Create a folder for ARRI, and then we'll separate by camera. All right. So So then we got the Alexa LF. Sweet. That's saving the complete web page. I don't know if I want that, right? I want to be able to, can I save the image? Save as. Let's see if it'll allow me to save the image. I saved the web page just in case. Oh, it's still going. Cancelled. Let's see, can we save this? Come on. It's not letting me do it. Okay, so that was that one. Let's finish off our camera database list at least, and then we'll call that done for that one. Web page, single file. No, it's not letting me. It's not letting me save an image. That's okay. That's cool. We'll just sort of leave it at that. Let's pop over, finish our database. Right. So we've got our red Monstro. Yeah. So the Sony FS65. Cool. Right. And this camera is, yeah, I knew it. It's the Sony Cine Alta, right? So, Sony Cine Alta F65. There we go. So I'm going to see if we can copy that and then paste it into our presentation here. Okay, so we got the Arri Alexa, the red Monstro. Let's duplicate this slide and we'll take this guy out. No, we're gonna have to take a picture of it. So I'm going to take a picture of it over here. And I need to set my capture utility to not include the mouse. That's kind of a bit frustrating, but that's all right. This is just a thing here. So this is the, paste that guy in there, cool. And we're gonna, this is our Sony Cine Alta F65. That's cool. I want to get rid of the tech specs in case they are wrong, right? And then, did we pop that in our database? Yes, we did. Okay, so that's the Sony F65. And then, of course, there is the Sony Venice. Cine Alta. I just twigged right now that Cine Alta is their line, right? So, Cine Alta Venice, right? So that's cool. I think that's all the cameras we need, right? And this one as well, I'm gonna have to print screen this bad boy. And we will just grab that. So, there we go. Mouse in the exact same spot. Craziness. All right, so I'm gonna grab this. It seems fitting that we're ending on the two Sony cameras, right? That's cool. Sony Cine Alta Venice. The Venice, it's a beautiful camera. All right, so that's it for that. Just a little bit of camera research. What I might do is I might rejoin this in with my regular stuff here. And that's camera research done for this morning. Very cool, right? So in addition to that, I want to exit this layout and say, yeah, let's save layout changes automatically. Do not ask. Thank you, right? So if I pop in here, we got the cameras that we want to be talking about. F65, the red was in there, Alexa was in there. We've just updated it. That's cool. So I've made it a solid list as opposed to drawing its information from the slate. So that's cool, right? Slate, camera. See, I don't get where it's pulling that data because the slate information up here is, let's take a look, right? So I'm gonna grab this slate info. That's Slate's slate. So I'm not entirely sure where it is getting its data from. Current table. So there's a slates table located somewhere that has camera body in it. Unless, is it referring to itself? Could be. All right, so I'm going to save this off. I wonder if it just auto saves. So let's see if we can save a copy. So I'm going to save a copy into my templates. Copy of current file, automatically create email with, nope. So let's replace that. And that'll be us for today, doing a little bit of camera research, right? Okay, that's cool. Now I'm going to leave it at that, and then I'm going to pop back in and we're going to do some Houdini stuff. So I will talk to you later.